What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dave Goldstein podcast. We've got a special episode here in person. Our guest, the one and only Mr. Zen Man Academy, Sacha. Thanks for coming on the podcast today.
What's up? Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So let's first get started with a little backstory on you. That's what I always love to do, and also how we met. So, where did you grow up, by the way?
So I grew up in south of France, and I grew up in a poor family of the south of France, like middle class poor family, and I was living in a neighborhood that was actually like a really bad neighborhood, so with bad influences of people. So when I was young, I was actually I was very shy, like a lot of people know that. But what people don't really know about me is that as I was shy, I was also someone that was taking risks. I was taking a lot of risks. So when I was 7, 8 years old in this bad neighborhood, I was actually stealing things. So I was going to the supermarket and stealing things on a daily basis. And
because you were hungry?
No. No, just because it was fun, because it was exciting.
Ah, you like that adventure.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You're like in Aladdin, stealing the groceries and whatnot and the candies.
So I was doing that, but what I also did is that I was going to the basement of the apartments that were really old. So they were made of woods. So what I was basically doing is going there and breaking there and stealing things that were really expensive. I'm not going to say anything of what I was stealing, but I stole some pretty cool shit at the time.
Damn. Yeah. I did not know that.
And when I reached 11, 12 years old, I actually got caught by the police.
Fuck.
And for stupid things. I remember it was real. Like I was just stealing some candies in the supermarket and they caught me up. So they called the police and the police came and I was crying and my best friend that was staying with me was laughing. I was like, what the fuck, So it's a funny way to grow up because I was very scared of people, massively scared of people, yet very adventurous. I was always like finding a way to excite myself in a way, And the big thing is, so you're just gonna cut the thing? Okay.
We're back.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we're back. So it was a funny balance, like very difficult for me to socialize, almost impossible, especially with women. And at the same time, seeking risks. And when I was 12, I moved to another city, and this is when things got really bad because I lost all my friends. I had a bunch of friends there from like early childhood, and I lost all of them. And I couldn't make friends at that point. I was 12, and I really couldn't make friends. And this is when I started to got bullied. I started to play video games, like to escape from being bullied, to escape my reality. And, it got really bad when I was 17 years old. Like when I was 17, that was the worst year, one of the worst years of my life, because I was literally being bullied every fucking day, physically and mentally, both. And it was really, really tough. And then I got out of high school and things got a little bit better, but still I had the wounds, the wounds of me being bullied, me that couldn't make friends, me that couldn't socialize with women. And I had this like huge desire of meeting women. It was massive desire and it was growing and growing and creating frustration more and more. And at one point I said, fuck it, I'll just do it. I'll just start approaching women. I'll just start handling the situation of my life. And that was 4 or 5 years ago when I decided to actually like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do this shit now, finally. And it was tough. I mean, I was very anxious when I was approaching women. My first approach, I was like shaking, like literally. And in front of the girl, I was like super red and just like freeze and couldn't do anything. But I continued, And I don't think we want to hear that, but there was some different stages in my journey. I went down and then back up and down. And now here I am coaching men, not just pick up, because
Do you call yourself a pickup coach?
No, I don't call myself.
Because we're going to get into that. And since you bring it up, right, I have a lot of overlap in Sacha's story. I also felt like I was bullied. One of the reasons why I pushed away from my heritage, even though my parents were Jewish, I didn't want to get bar mitzvah. I didn't want to go to the Hebrew school, was because I felt like that was a burden to be associated with like Judaism. And I also had no real connection with the opposite sex. I had like a girlfriend when I was very, very young, and then like she broke up with me over an online, AOL Instant Messenger for the old folk here, and that kind of like tore me apart, and I had no one to talk to. So I just decided like I'm not going to, even try with girls anymore. And my whole life just revolved around playing video games, drinking grape juice, eating pizza, and playing tennis. All right. And that was it. And then like I get to university, and what's my drive is, how do I get laid? Like, how do I get, some women in my life when I've never had experienced that? And I see other people and it's not that difficult for them. Even though now I look back at a lot of those people, and like, because it wasn't so difficult for them, they ended up settling for relationships that aren't that fulfilling anymore, or they took it as easy, so they went down actually a bad path. Okay, with their work, with drugs, with other things like that. So in a way, I'm definitely very grateful for the shit that I went through. But I also, like you, got really into how do you seduce a woman. And there was one girl that I talked to here in Budapest who said to me, wait, guys don't know how to seduce a woman? Like, isn't that easy? And I'm like, I wish that I could say, yes, it's so easy, but a lot of guys really don't know how to do it. And they really struggle, and they self-sabotage, and they have all these limiting beliefs around attraction. So, coming from that place, you as well, you walk up to a girl, you're red, you're nervous. I've gone through, hundreds and thousands of rejections, of girls that didn't want to meet me, they didn't want to be with me, they didn't want to date me, whatever it was. Okay. And I see that that's the other side, that there's a lot of guys that struggle, and just because you are a white male doesn't entitle you to get laid on command if you don't work on yourself.
Yeah, actually, well, one question I get asked a lot is, how tall are you? And I'm pretty tall. You know that I'm 191, 6'3", I think. So I'm a pretty tall dude. But what I always say is that, okay, yeah, I'm tall, and yeah, I'm attractive for sure. I know that some girls think I'm really hot. I know this shit. But how about 5 years ago? Can you explain me why no girls looked at me 5 years ago? Can you explain me that? I was tall, same height. I was, I could be attractive 5 years ago. Of course, I changed a lot. But can you actually explain me why I didn't get girls? I was same height, attractive. What changed?
And I wanted to bring that up because Sacha's got a YouTube channel. You guys got to check it out. It's just Sacha Thane, right?
Thane, yeah.
And one of his videos, he says how to be, magnetic around women and people in general when you're walking down the street. And I was thinking, oh my God, there's definitely gonna be guys out there who are like, no, it's just because he's good looking and tall. And you could easily jump to that conclusion. And excuse me, there are a lot of coaches out there who they fit the profile. Like they look good. They, have certain attributes that would put them into this box where you're like, it's definitely because of his looks. But if you jump to that conclusion, you're probably putting yourself in a box, okay, and not understanding the reason behind why he's actually having success. So why is it that you're having more success now in your life with women and with work and, with leaving, an impact on other people's lives?
I think the first step is to put myself out there. And sometimes when you listen to inner coaches, that talk about feeling better, feeling a lot of love, they tend to forget about you actually taking action, actually like going out and approaching women. That's the first thing. But the second thing is to unlearn a lot of bullshit or overcome certain things that happened in your past. to actually become who you really are. I always talk about this concept of we already know how to speak to girls since the beginning, since day one. If you tap into your consciousness, and we can talk about that on a deeper level, but if you tap into your consciousness, if you tap into your love, and you let go of here, the mind, the head, you'll discover that you have already the skills to speak to women and seduce them, make them like you, and have sex with them. So a good example that I love to give to my students is that right now I have a girlfriend and I'm having a lot of sex with her, a lot of sex. And
oh yeah.
and then what is really interesting is that if I really tap into my intuition, if I really trust my intuition fully, and I fully surrender to it, so I let go of my mind fully when I have sex, and I just embody who I am and this pulsation that tells me sometimes to do things. I will do certain things. So, for example, certain position or certain way to lick her pussy or a certain way to fuck her that I never seen anywhere. That I never seen anywhere or in porn or in some sex course that I read or even that I watched. Anything, you know, I'm doing things that I never seen anywhere simply because I'm letting go of thinking and what to do. And as soon as you let go of all of that, you tap into something that is beyond yourself. And
There's going to be an explicit Zen Man Academy website coming to a theater near you in 2021.
As well. So when you and that's why my work is based on this exact idea of letting go of your fears, letting go of some experience that you had in your past that hampers your reality right now, letting go of some of your identity as well. You know, a lot of men identify themselves with their mind. They think them thinking all the time is them. It's not you. It's simply you identifying yourself with your mind. That's it. You can decide your identity just like that. A good example of an exercise you can do in your life is think about how you see yourself and to which things you identify yourself, and write them in a book, wherever. Write those things that you identify yourself, and choose one of them to let go, to completely let go. And if you are really interested in what exactly it looks like, well, I can take an example of my life. Right now, I have like a shoulder injury just right here, and it's been 3 weeks that I really can't work out. And one part of my identity, and you know it, we met in a gym. You want to know where we met? We met in the fucking gym.
In real life, we met in the gym.
Yeah.
But before that, we met online.
Yeah.
And we met through a common mentor, Thomas Wiggum.
Thomas Wiggum. Yeah.
Shout out to Thomas.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were kind of drawn together after going down kind of a similar path of frustration in our lives, struggle with women, to starting to mentor and give back, and also look at the seduction world and the pickup, right, as something that wasn't so healthy, that wasn't so positive. And that was what I wanted to bring up to you on this podcast as well. So when guys come to you and they say, oh, you're one of them, you're one of that fraternity, part of that tribe, and what they're referring to is the pickup community, how do you respond?
That's a good question. I usually respond that here's the thing. Yeah, I teach pickup in a way.
In what sense?
So what I do with some of my students is that we go out together. So I have a call and I go out in my city, which is Budapest at the moment, and they go out in their city, and we approach women together.
I'm gonna call you out on that, and I'm gonna say you actually don't teach pickup because
I'm not finished.
Yeah, I think you teach natural attraction.
Yeah, of course, but that's the thing. I teach pickup in a way because we do that.
Yeah,
that's pickup. You know, you can call it whatever. That's pickup. But I also teach to own every area of your life to become truly attractive in a natural way, which is asking yourself, what is your purpose? And being able to answer it fully and being clear with it. Are you loving yourself? Are you owning your sexuality? Are you comfortable being sexual as a person? And that means, are you comfortable being sexual with women, with your family, with your friends, etc., etc. So we work on different areas, and that's why I don't call myself a pickup guy, because I'm not. We work on so many aspects of it. We work on your pain, like where is the pain in your life? Are you unfulfilled in your job? Are you unfulfilled in your sex life? Are you unfulfilled with women? And if you're unfulfilled in one area, this area will affect other areas of your life as well. So if you want to become the ultimate man in a way, or the Zen man, like that's my concept, it's Zen man, that's what I call it. You will have to own every area of your life fully from love.
And just to put, take the shade and reveal what's behind the curtain of, who is a Zen man or who is the ultimate man, you have to really start to ask, okay, wait, what is that coach or what is that community preaching? Where's their energy at? Where's their, love for their students, for women, for other men as well, and the acceptance? And something that I've noticed about you is that you really help men to awaken their heart center, and to start to listen to their heart. Yeah. But with that being said, what's the biggest misconception that you see when you tell guys to quote unquote listen to their heart, and then they try to do it, but they're going wrong? Where do they usually go wrong?
So if you want to embrace fully your heart, you'll have to let go your mind. And this is where most of the people goes wrong. Letting go of your mind. And the mind will confuse you. So sometimes you will think that you're embracing your heart in a certain experience, in a certain moment. But in fact, it's the opposite. The mind is affecting it, So I have a lot of calls where I'm just shutting out the mind of my students. They ask me like, oh, but how do I feel love? How do I continue to feel love? And when you ask how, from to understand what is love, you move away from love, because the very important thing to realize about embracing your heart, embracing your love, is that it's not something that you will understand. You have to let go of understanding what is love. It's not understandable. It is something you feel. It is something you be. And a good example I give to that is when you were born, you always wanted to drink water. You always had a desire to drink water. It's not something you think. When you drink water, you just take a glass and you drink, right? Just like what I'm doing right now. Am I thinking when I drink water? I don't think. I just do it. Love is the same. Love is not something that you have to, love, I'm going to feel love.
I'm going to go pick up her, like, alpha.
Yeah, so it's not about that. It's about, it's coming at you. It's here already. It's like
accepting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, letting it in, receiving it.
Yeah, receiving it, allowing it. It's more allowing it and embracing it. Your love was with you since day one, since you were born, even before actually. Whether you want it or not, your consciousness, your heart, your soul is beyond your body. Maybe I don't want to go too deep into that. That's something I go with my students. But you had love since the beginning. You just decided not to look at it at one point in your life. And that might be because of your family, that might be because of school. In school, we don't teach how to embrace love. We don't teach how to embrace intuition. We teach how to use the mind, how to write, how to calculate, learning history and a bunch of other stuff. That's the mind, that's understanding. But we don't teach how to feel love, how to follow love, and how to embrace it, and how to let it guide your life. Who knows that? Who embodies that? Few people, not so many people. And actually, one of my goals, not now, and I'm still a bit young, and But one of my goals in 30, 40 years is to have one class in every school of France where we teach intuition and love, along with mathematics, literature, history, geography. There'll be a class of love and intuition. Because learning that and embracing that can change life, literally. Can change the path of your life in a very healthy way. You know, it will change the lens so much that we could have such a better society, such a better place here, you know.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. And in the end of the day, maybe you should allow yourself to be hurt, because love can be in many forms and shapes and sizes. It can also be pain as well. And you need to learn to love that pain, and to love that hurt, and to love that suffering that we all go through. You know, something I was thinking was, a lot of guys have an adverse reaction, women as well, to say 3 words. Do you know what they are? I love you. And it's scary. I remember the first book that I read on dating and seduction. The author was like, never tell a woman that you love her unless you want to marry her. And this year, working with Tom and meeting you and all these amazing, gals and guys, I start to realize that I can say those 3 words and mean it, and it can have a profound impact on the relationship when you really display your love and your support and your compassion for someone else. Doesn't matter what they're going through, this, it's unconditional. And a lot of people are going to struggle with that one because they're not going to be able to say it back. They're not going to understand what it means. I've had, a friend recently tell me, get out of your love story. And I was thinking, well, how about you get into your love story? How about you start to enter into that narrative, which is love, rather than the business and seduction and capitalistic gain? Because, something that I've been learning more about over the last few weeks is spiral dynamics. So it's like a psychology chart from Claire Graves, learned it from actualize.org. And there's different colors on the scale, from like red and blue up to like orange and green and yellow. And when you get higher, you become more conscious, you become more loving, you become in more of a giving state. You start to understand what it means to serve. And then there are certain words that you'll have seen them thousands of times in movies and books. You have read about them, you have heard them from other people, but they won't resonate with you until you get to a certain scale on the spiral dynamics. You won't awaken your mind to a certain place. And one of those words that we talk about a lot on this podcast is the word to serve. And something that I see, with you and the way that you interact with your students, and you coach some of my students, and you really come at it from a place of servitude, not only for men, but also for women. How can you serve those women? How can you give back? And how can you get to that higher state of consciousness?
Yeah. So, and serving, basically, how to serve someone. It's to understand what do they need, If you want to coach someone, so maybe there are some coaches out there that are listening. If you want to coach someone, you need to understand what this person needs, not what this person wants. Doesn't matter. You need to understand what do they need and what is going to trigger them to get what they need. So serving is can be done in many ways. Sometimes you have to go against someone to serve that person, right? You have to call them out, for example. Trigger them. Or sometimes just loving them, embracing them, saying, wow, that's great. You're doing a great job right now. That's serving as well. Serving is a complex thing to understand from the mind.
Yeah, it could be tearing down the ego, or it could be building that person up. and showing them that love and support that they need when they're going through difficult times, okay, or taking them off the pedestal that they're on, or taking them, removing the lens when they see others on a pedestal, and that's not fair because they're not valuing themselves. I'm sure you see this a lot in men as well that you coach, that a lot of men, they don't see their innate value. They don't understand how much greatness they have inside, how amazing that they could be for the world, how much, other men that they could affect, how many beautiful women would love to be with them. And they limit their opportunity and their greatness in life. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I just had a call about that actually. A little bit earlier, I had a call about the fact that my student, when he listened to his mind, he doesn't deserve a woman that is really attractive. And to the point that he will not even talk to them, like approach them in the street or anywhere, because he doesn't feel worthy. And if this same person, this same student, is embodying his heart, he will say something totally different from that space. And he knows it deep inside that he has so much to offer. So much. It's a 30-year-old guy, entrepreneur working on his business, making a lot of money, that has an amazing...
We've heard that story 1,000 times, right?
Yeah. It's he has an amazing personality, like a great personality. Like having a conversation with him is really interesting. It can be fun. It can be, like it makes you feel young almost to have a conversation with him. But what I noticed about him is that as soon as he goes out there and approach, he becomes someone else. It's like he's putting a mask, and it's a mask of someone that is going to fail. Because it already failed and it's going to fail again. So the whole point here is to take off that mask and be who you really are from love. And that's the whole work. It's not about learning a bunch of stuff. It can be about that at some point for sure. Maybe you want to learn about sales, some techniques, maybe some techniques in the bedroom as well, and it's fine. But the big part of the work is about you and learning the bullshit that you have going on.
What about, because our last interview was more about online dating, and this, I feel like you're more of an advocate of when you see someone in real life, having the courage, okay, and the dominance and the masculinity to go and approach that person. How much emphasis do you put on sub-communication, body language, eye contact?
It's one of the main things, of course. But like all of that, if you just really relax and present, all of that will come very naturally. You'll have a very good eye contact if you relax with someone. You'll have a very good body language if you feel totally relaxed with that person. So I teach like body language. I have a whole module about body language. I teach tonality. I teach all of this stuff. But the main thing is, because if you teach someone body language, but it's still not relaxed, it will not work anyway.
It'll look very forced.
Yeah.
It'll be too stiff,
Yeah.
It's like, all right, chest out, shoulders back, and then relax, Don't come up and be like super like macho manly, all right? Or else girls are going to immediately see that on you.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to walk past, and you're going to be like blocking the way, and you're going to show no empathy.
If you pretend something with women, they will see it right away. Right away. They can detect that shit.
We were on the last mastermind group call with Roxana, and a lot of guys were asking, so do you know whether you want to sleep with the guy before that you meet him? And she's like, actually, a lot of women do. Yeah. They'll see the guy approach and they'll know right away whether he's someone that, they could see themselves being with in a relationship or in the bedroom or whatnot, just by the way that he moves, just by his energy.
Yeah, they will tell it right away. And then it's about you not fucking with it. Basically. My girlfriend, for example, when I met her, I knew...
How did you meet your current girlfriend?
In front of a university, in the street. And it was a very, very natural approach. I was not here to approach. specifically. I was just here to chill. I had my coffee, and I was also like eating a pastry, and I had chocolate all over my mouth. It was
That's so sexy. She probably wanted to lick it off your
fucking
lips.
disgusting. That was disgusting. And I was not planning to approach, I was just like enjoying myself. And I see her, and I'm like, okay, like she looks cool. And then she sits down, and I see her ass, and I'm like, fuck, she's my type. So I'm going, and and I just asked her to. So at the time, I didn't know it was a university, this big building. I was new to Budapest. So I asked her like, hey, is this a university? And she said yes, and then she just bombarded me with questions because I was just really relaxed and present, and I liked her, so I was projecting that. I was not trying anything. She was the one chasing. She asked me my name. She asked me for my number. She really like did the whole job. I was just being here, And right off the bat, I knew she wanted to fuck me. I knew it. So it was just me about being relaxed and handling a little bit of limiting belief that she had on the first date, and then we had an amazing sex, really good sex.
Well, what do you think about like escalation? Do you think that guys need to try to escalate as fast as possible, and that the sex needs to happen on the first or second date, or could they wait a little bit, considering there's not yet that vaccine out, okay, to everyone? Maybe they should wait, keep a little social distance, don't want to catch the COVID, or maybe they just want to get to connect with someone on a deeper level before they start exchanging body parts.
Well, I mean, so first of all, connection can happen while still having sex. You don't have to connect before. And there's no rules here. Like the only rule is, what does your heart say at this right moment? Does it say that you want to be sexual? And if you want to be sexual, why are you stopping yourself from not being sexual? From being sexual, sorry. And if you don't feel like being sexual, why are you forcing yourself to be sexual? Are you trying to be a tough guy because you're not sexual for the first 20 minutes? Because when you follow some pickup company, they tell you that you should sexualize as soon as possible. So a lot of guys will force the sexualization when it should be just natural because you feel it. So me personally, when I sexualize with a woman is when I get hard. As soon as I get hard during a date, well, I guess it's time. I just feel it. And it will be very natural. It doesn't have to be on a verbal basis. People think it's just about what you say that really matters. You can be sexual by saying, what time is it? And then looking deep in the eyes and feeling that sexual energy going in your body. For example, one thing that is really interesting before you speak is that with my girlfriend, I can feel when she's horny. If I get her closer to me, and she touches my body, and I get her as she gets closer to me, I know she's horny. It's just a connection that you can feel with someone you feel connected with. Same during a date. You will feel sexual when she will feel sexual. And if you feel sexual in a total relaxed way, she will feel it as well. And trust that. It's my full experience with it.
Some pretty raw footage right there. We're going to have to put this episode on explicit. But yeah, that is the intuition coming into play, where you're really trusting what your body is telling you to do, okay, rather than following a script or this technical game where you need to go from step 1 to 2 to 3 and follow this system. Okay, you should throw all of that in the garbage and start to follow your heart, okay, and start to get into your body, get more in touch with your body. And exercise that Roxana said on the group call that was very powerful was some of the guys who are struggling with approaching women, okay, or struggling in the bedroom, are just not in touch with their body. Maybe they need to start to explore and discover it a little bit more, and not just a quick, wank and that, burst of dopamine to the brain. Yeah. All right. Actually sit with your, with who you are and start to figure that out. What do you like? Which parts of your body are sensitive? Okay. And that'll really get you out of your mind and into your body, and you'll be able to start to trust rather than doubt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually I have a library for my students.
Yeah.
And one module is about self-pleasure. The way the people think that sexuality starts when you fuck a girl. It doesn't. If you want to be a sex god, you need to masturbate in a certain way that is not the typical way. And a typical way to masturbate is to be in front of a computer, just like right now, and sitting and just jerking off like that while watching porn. And think about it a little bit. Is it actually how you will have sex with a girl? Is it actually how you will have sex with a girl in front of a computer and a girl fucking like that? Probably not. So think about how you masturbate now and how you can connect it with fucking a girl. You are free to do whatever you want. Think about that. I have a video in my Zen Men Academy group where where I actually talk about what to do when to masturbate. I give some little advice. So if you want to join, you can join. It's the unit 1 of my group. But the way you masturbate is the way you fuck. There's one guy that talks about that. His name is Andrew Mioch. And I learned this from him. Like the way you masturbate is the way you fuck. And if you change the way you masturbate, the way you're going to fuck is going to be still different. And this is coming from a guy that used to struggle with premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction. Like when I started to have sex, I was such in a bad moment, such in a bad period. Like it was horrible. And girls were literally rejecting me every time I was fucking them because I was lasting not 1 minute, 5 seconds. Not 1 minute, it was 5 fucking seconds. I was going inside, 1 or 2 strokes, and then I was done. That was my sex life at the beginning. It was bad. It was bad. And it created a bit of trauma. And that's actually why I got into Tantra, then BDSM, because I really wanted to give pleasure to women. I really wanted to give pleasure to myself as well. You know, when you come quick, you don't really feel so much pleasure. You know, feel more frustration than anything.
Yeah, there's that frustration, that pain, that doubt, and that shame. And there's enough shame going around that you don't want to be putting more shame onto yourself these days. What you need to be doing is supporting yourself and showing yourself love. So, wow. All right. Well, we've covered a lot. I think that this is just the first time that you're going to be on the podcast. So let's leave it off with our final question. Where is the Zen Man Academy going in the next 12 months?
Good question. I want Zen Man Academy to be a movement. That's something I'm going to bring more and more to the table. So, and we can see it more and more. There are more and more people in my group engaging, posting, you know, and they are really interested in becoming who they really are. You know, they can see that it's something they can attain. And yeah, everyone can attain that. Everyone can attain self-mastery, you know, knowing who you really are, embodying that, living that, breathing that. So I'm really excited about what's coming next because my YouTube channel is going to be big, I think, in 1 or 2 years. I feel it. Mark my words. If you're watching this now, in 2 years, you can check my YouTube channel. It's going to be big. I know it. I feel it. So yeah, my plan is to really create a huge movement of men coming from a healthy place, you know, wanting good for girls and owning who they really are. Stopping the bullshit. You know, cut the bullshit and start doing the work, basically.
Amazing. Yeah. A lot of you guys already know Sacha. For those of you who don't, and this is your first exposure to the Zen Man himself, this is an opportunity, an excellent one, to join the Zen Man Academy Facebook group, to subscribe to his YouTube channel, to reach out to him. Okay, a lot of my students in the Dave Goldstein Mastermind have worked with him and can attest how powerful that work can be on trying to find your Zen state and your true masculinity. So you're welcome. As always, you guys know the deal. If you like this episode, if you learned something, which I'm sure you did, the only cost is to like, comment, and share it with a friend. Okay. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Just Dave Gold Evolve. Join me to the group, and we will all see you in the next episode. Peace.